Hey YouTube, it's a beautiful day. Let me grab TikTok.
Why don't schools teach survival?
TikTok. I know that guy. He's me. Alright, let's grab the talk. Let's go live. Let's call this. Stop it. Flip that. Let's call this Homeschool, Homestead, and Garden. Homeschool, Homestead, and Garden. I love it. All right. And go live. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Oh, no. I messed the whole thing up. Sorry, YouTube. I got to grab TikTok again. All right. All that, and I messed it up. All right. Let's try that again. Live. All right. There we are. 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. We are live. And it is a beautiful day here in the sunny south. There is a slight chill in the air, but it is 9:37 in the morning, and I can only imagine in the next 3 hours it's going to get very, very, very nice here. I do love living in the South. So today we're going to talk about homeschooling, homesteading, gardening. I had a very exciting weekend. Wanted to talk about that. And what we're doing with homeschooling and homesteading. All right, what's up, Melissa? How you doing? All right, we have a beautiful day ahead of us. The children are at the grocery store with Nicole. But one of the things I'm so passionate about is gardening and homesteading, and it's why when I started Homeschools Connected and the first year-long unit study we're going to do, I wanted it to be on that subject because it's the best life skill, and it connects you to nature. It connects you to where you come from. And, in my own journey where, I grew up in a suburb and we didn't really do any gardening or anything like that. And then, a few years ago, when I got my first house, we had a little area and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll plant some seeds. And I just fell in love with it. And, now we're at the point where I'm at my transition home right here. But my wife and I are starting a homestead, and there is something so therapeutic and so bonding to nature when you start to garden for yourself. So we're doing our year-long nature unit study this year for Homeschools Connected, and that's our topic of study. We have been doing gardening, and I think this week's lesson, I'm personally more excited about the lesson this week than any of the other lessons that we've done. And we've done a lot so far. I mean, we've had the children draw a map of the property they live on. So take a blank piece of paper, figure out which way is north, which way is south, east, west, or those are the directions, Brett. So figure all that out, draw a map of the property that they live on, then spend a day tracking the sun clock, because the sun is a clock in the sky, right? So when you wake up at 7 a.m., where is that sun over the property that you live? Where's the sun at 12 p.m.? Where is the sun at 2 p.m.? Where is the sun at 7 p.m.? So they did that. They built their own little greenhouses and did some composting. And I'll probably, as long as the children keep the compost, they should be able to use it come fall when we do our fall gardening, which would be exciting. But yeah, they did composting, and last week we had the children build their own garden boxes. And I hope that the members of our community did that this week, because it's a really great life experience to have a child build their own garden box. It's pretty simple construction, yet, it's complex if you haven't done it. But it's learning to use a hammer, learning to use a drill, learning to, put things together, to plan the garden box in the first place. It's all a really good skill. And then the children get a sense of ownership over that, right? That's something I made. That's something tangible. That's something that child knows they are capable of doing for the rest of their life. And then once they build that garden box, when they have future challenges in the world, maybe they need something built, maybe they have an idea, whereas so many children wouldn't know where to start. They think back and say, you know what, I built that garden box and I could build whatever it is that I have to build today. And that falls right in line with our philosophy of when you educate children, it should really focus on critical thinking, skill development, and entrepreneurial experience. And we'll get into the entrepreneurial stuff. But so that's a great skill, the skill of carpentry, of construction. Well, this week, now that they did the garden boxes, our students are going to be choosing soil. Now, they might have already put soil in the box. That's fine. But we're going to be learning a little bit more about soil, the different types of soil, and the pH levels. And one of the things, actually two of the things our students are going to be doing is 2 experiments they're going to be doing this week. The first is they are going to do a DIY, a do-it-yourself, at-home experiment in which they determine what type of soil they have. Is it sand? Is it loam? Is it clay? Well, how do you do that? Pretty simple, actually. Basically take a mason jar. You take your mason jar, you take a shovel, you put soil into the mason jar. You fill the mason jar pretty much up to the top with water. You wait a few days, and the clay will rise to the top. The silt, as it's called, will be in the middle, and the sand will sink to the bottom because it's the heaviest, right? And after a few days, they could identify what type of soil they have and what they're working with. They'll be learning about pH levels. Now, most plants, it differs, but most plants want a pH level between 6 and 7.5. And that differs. And I'm going to show you some plants that would actually want a different pH level. I am going to show you some plants, and I can't tell you how excited I am about it. But, so our students are going to actually figure out the pH level at home without a formal testing kit. Now, they won't know exactly. It's not an exact science, but it tells you enough. It tells you what you need to know. So what they would do is, and by the way, pH operates between 1 and 14 on a scale. So what they'll do is they'll take some of their soil and they'll mix it in with vinegar. And if the soil bubbles up, that will tell them where their soil falls on the pH scale. If it doesn't bubble, right, then what they'll do is they'll take some water and some baking soda. Hey, Tifgog, how you doing? They will take some water and some baking soda. They'll take their soil, they'll put it in, and if it bubbles up, that will tell them the pH. And based on those 2 tests, they will be able to tell, is my soil alkaline or is my soil acidic, right? Basically, and what that means is the soil above a pH of 7 or below a pH of 7? Now, exactly where that is, they won't know, but they'll have a good idea. And then what we'll do is next week, we'll actually talk about, or we'll learn about remedies the children could take to adjust their soil pH to get it where they want it to be so that their plants can grow. And then while they're doing this, the other part of this lesson, which I'm really excited about, for those of you that follow me, you know how passionate I am about photography and videography. Videography's made a big difference in my own life, right? So I really speak from a place of experience. So what we're going to have the children do is, as they do the experiments, they could choose which experiment they want to document. They are going to film a how-to tutorial of how to do this science experiment. And then their objective will be to edit their video down in iMovie or Adobe Premiere Rush or Rush. Edit their video down so that it's under 1 minute. So an under 1 minute tutorial documenting what they did to either determine what type of soil they have or what type of, hey Lou, get over here. I don't want you back there. There's going to be a snake back there one time. You're going to have a bad day. My dog. You make me nervous. She makes me nervous. So yeah, and they're going to do the videography. And the reason for that, and think about everything I've outlined here, where we're doing construction, where we're doing videography, right? Is schools don't prioritize skill development. And I will beat this like a dead horse. I will beat it 1,000 times. Like a dead horse. I don't know where that expression comes from. I don't know why they beat a dead horse, but I'm guessing that it comes from somewhere. And thank you, Nesha. I really appreciate that. Ooh, nickels. Beat it like a dead horse. So schools don't prioritize skill development. But skills are what free a person. It takes one skill to free a man. If you are a capable carpenter, I haven't looked it up. Bear Mini Mom, can you look it up? And Bear Mini Mom, I need the picture of how to do this lemon tree. The whole community is waiting for you. I've just been blaming you for my tardiness. I'm like, oh, I can't cut the lemon tree yet. Bear Mini Mom. It's Bear Mini Mom's fault. I can't do it. It's Bear Mini Mom's fault. We're actually going to go to the greenhouse in a few minutes, and I'm going to show you guys what I did over the weekend. So, it's deeper than the lemon tree now. By the way, I'm going to answer all the comments. I just like to get through my rant. Otherwise, I start fighting with trolls. So, that's the last thing anyone wants. So, where's I going with that? Oh, yeah, skill development. If your child is a capable carpenter, right, and you can teach them this stuff, there are books available for $10 on Amazon, which will start your child on a path, which by the time they get to high school, we can have them doing amazing things, right? They can always market themselves as a handyman. Grandma down the block will always need a TV mounted on the wall, right? And then obviously if they have the skills of a carpenter, there's a lot of different things they can do with that. And they can get really entrepreneurial with it or always find employment with it, right? But it's a great skill. Imagine you had a job working for some soulless corporation and, you were excited. You got this job there. This is great. And then after 5 years in the rat race, you're like, oh, this job sucks. You hate your boss. You don't like going into work, but you have a mortgage. Now your boss is telling you have to get some procedure, otherwise you can't work. And you feel stuck, right? Well, if your child knows carpentry, they'll be able to find work. They'll be able to do stuff. If your child knows videography, for one, whatever they do in their life, they'll have the ability to market it. This is a video world, and they will have the video to market themselves, market a personal brand, which is a great idea, market whatever it is they're selling, whatever business they're running, right? Videography is an amazingly useful tool in this world. Not to mention, not only could they market themselves, imagine I needed a job all of a sudden. Well, I could pretty much guarantee you I could secure a job working for a corporation doing their videography, right? I could go up to them and I could show them, look, this is what I've achieved doing videography, and I can replicate this for you, right? I'd be able to get a job. So it's a very powerful skill. And it only takes one skill to free a man. Now, I don't care what that skill is. I don't care if that skill is art, music, aesthetics, waxing, hair cutting, plumbing, construction, engineering, computer coding. Skills are music to my ears. Teach your children as many skills as you can. Skills over subject matter. Not that subjects don't matter, because they do, but if I had to choose between my children memorizing some nonsense historical narrative or learning carpentry, you better bet my children are learning to be carpenters. as was Jesus. So yeah, we do a 3-prong focus on your child's education. Focus on these 3 points. So always remind yourself, 3 points. Write it down. Put it on the fridge. We focus on critical thinking and the process of learning over memorization, because memorization is nice, makes you feel good in the moment, not going to carry you through life. You could always learn to memorize things, but learning to think critically, now that's a task when you weren't taught as a child. So teach your children critical thinking. Skills over subject matter, not that subjects don't matter. Skills, 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 skills. Does anyone do microgreens? Amber in Homeschools Connected just asked about microgreens, if anyone's doing that. I actually could point her to a very good resource on that, Curtis Stone. So after the stream, I'll go point her to that resource. But love that she's asking about microgreens. Critical thinking, skills, and entrepreneurial experience. Now, one of the things the members of our homeschool community are doing this year, or they're getting through the nature unit study, is they'll be getting entrepreneurial experience. Now, for some children, that will look like a bake sale. For some children, that will look like hosting a dinner party. For other children, that might look like something a bit more complex, right? But the point is, we're getting them entrepreneurial experience. Well, we call it the rule of 6 in our homeschool community. Everyone, I just ordered microgreen seeds from Urban Farmer. Oh, from Curtis Stone. He's the Urban Farmer. Yeah, Phoenix, can you let Amber know in Homeschools Connected what you just did? I think she'd really appreciate that. And I don't like to be the one that always answers questions in in the community. Like, you guys have much more accumulative knowledge than I have, right? So as a community, we could really build with each other and crush for each other. And that's why I try to partner people up who like right now we have 3 members of our community with 10 to 12-year-old girls who are interested in sewing and trying to start their own clothing brand or company, for lack of a better, I guess they are. They really are. So what I did is I kind of got them together so that they're communicating with each other and they could bounce ideas off each other. And that's the type of entrepreneurial stuff that we're talking about here, right? So every 6 months from the time your child's 5 years old, you got to do something entrepreneurial adjacent. Now that could be as simple as a lemonade stand, right? No big deal, right? Just do something every 6 months. And you'll develop a mindset in them, and as they get older, they'll start to think of things that you and I, just over our head, wouldn't even think of, whatever they're interested in, right? I started a homeschool company because I'm obsessed with education, right? And I was very obsessed with waking people up into how this world functions, and I just didn't want to go that news reporter route anymore. I didn't... I was doing news reports on, I did news reports where all the people around me that were doing reports on the same stuff as I was were getting sued by the DNC. I had to take some of my reports down because the people that I was affiliating with were getting sued by the Democratic National Convention. And that when you fight that beast head on like that, that is a direct type of power where it's it makes you a little queasy, especially when, some of the stuff, when you start really investigating these people and what they do, it's man, these people are bad, bad, bad. Now, they don't realize that I'm more powerful than them. Why am I more powerful than them? Because I walk with Jesus, and I am more powerful. Because when you walk with Jesus and you walk with truth, no weapon forged against you shall prosper. But I took my path as I took my path, and I do what I love. And I encourage parents to raise their children to follow their interest and to do what they love, because when you follow your interest and you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And when you follow your interest and you do what you love, your passion will carry you down the road you are meant to walk, and your children will do what they are meant to do in this world. And that is a beautiful thing. So just follow that interest of your children. Prioritize their critical thinking. Don't worry about the arbitrary dictates of what these hack losers at the Department of Education say your children, he needs to know this by 2nd grade, so you have him memorize it right now. No, thank you. My child will be fine. I'm going to teach him critical thinking. We're going to follow his interest. Sure, if there's any mandated subject matter, mandated through the Department of Education, I'll play ball. I'll make sure they know that stuff because, I'm smarter than your average bear. I'm not going to leave myself vulnerable to these psychopaths. But no, my child will be fine. We're going to teach critical thinking. We're going to teach skill development. And we're going to get children entrepreneurial experience. And then they will have the tools that they need in order to be successful in life. And now people say, well, what if they don't want to be entrepreneurs? That's fine. Now listen, follow your path, right? But the problem that most people run into is they don't know how. Like anyone could figure out how to be an employee, right? Like you get a job, you learn what they want you to do at that job, and you do what they tell you to do. You do it well. And being an employee, I made 6 figures being an employee, right? You can make a great life being an employee. There are people that are, a lot of these CEOs, right? These central intelligence officers for these mega corporations, people don't realize this. They're employees of that corporation, right? And they're making $10 million a year, right? Roger Goodell is a good example. Roger Goodell is an employee of the National Football League, the CEO, right? He doesn't own the National Football League. He was put in place by the owners, who are the shareholders of the corporation of the National Football League. The shareholders of that corporation got together and said, we need someone to make decisions because we're just going to fight with each other. Why don't we vote on a CEO? And they voted, and Roger Goodell became the CEO. And for what they want, I think he's a dirtbag, but for what they want, he is doing the job they want, right? He's doing the job they want, and because of that, they pay him $44 million a year to be an employee. So you can live a phenomenal life as an employee. But what we want as parents is to give our children the options to do whatever it is they want to do in this world. And to do that, what we have to do is make sure that they have that entrepreneurial mindset, they have that entrepreneurial experience, and they have skills backed up by critical thinking. And if you put all of that together, you put that in a pot, you mix it up, that is one mean recipe for a person living a free life. I digress. All right, let me go back and answer some comments. By the way, if anyone ever, I was talking to Melissa about this, if anyone ever wants to make mirror channels, whether those are mirror TikTok channels, whether those are mirror YouTube channels, and they just want to clip any of this stuff and put it out there, like, please do, put it out there. You have my permission, get it all out there. I joke with Nicole, and I'm like, I'm just a one-man marketing machine. And I hope to get to the day where I don't have to be as much as a marketing machine. Because once I get to that day, I could put even more time into the content itself. In the past 3 days, I made a very important unit lesson for our inter-unit study. I filmed 3 classes, right? I'm filming classes now. And what I want to get to the point where I could start filming, 3 classes a day, where I could really start banging out classes and building out curriculums. And because ultimately, my greatest value to the world is 1, showing people the education system is crap, 2, showing them a better system of education, and then 3, actually building out systems of education, which I've started doing, which could really make a difference in a lot of people's lives. So I'm very excited about the classes I've been filming. In fact, right after I get off of this, I'm going to go and try to film 2 more classes. My objective for today is to film 2 more classes, because I want to start really giving you guys a lot of content where you could, have stuff for the children, right? And that's the goal here. That's the goal here. So, But as of now, I have to be a one-man marketing machine. So like my day, literally, I start my day at 3 a.m. and I produce videos, which one are extremely valuable to people. I mean, I don't exactly hold back. Like you could, if you wanted to just jack my nature unit study, like all you have to do is watch my videos. I literally tell everyone what we're doing. But I have to make those videos because I have to reach out to people. And, you know, if I could wake up at 3 a.m. and instead of producing that video, right, if I could wake up at 3 a.m. and then from 3 a.m. until, 9:30 a.m. produce curriculum, now that's where I want to get. So, but everything in due time. Good morning, driving, but really winning. Winning is becoming an employee of your own company. That's Hardwood Bear. Hardwood Bear is an absolute legend. He knows how to do everything except prune a lemon tree. So, Hardwood Bear could do anything, but if life gives him lemons, that's the one scenario in which he's completely lost. He's out of luck. He just twiddles his thumbs. He has yet to get back to me like, hey, Brett, don't worry. Over the weekend, I crushed lemon tree research, and this is how you prune a lemon tree. He was probably busy, building that company because, like I said, he crushes. But, whatever, Hardwood Bear. Tiff Gog in the house. Also, I also blame Bear Mini Mom. I'm blaming everyone for my lack of pruning. It's Hardwood Bear's fault I haven't looked up how to properly prune a lemon tree. You know whose fault it is? It's Bear Mini Mom's. It's everyone's but my. But you know what's funny? Like, I'm joking, and like the reason I'm doing that is it's obviously my fault, right? Like, it's obviously my responsibility to look up how to prune my tree. But we live in a society that is so separated from personal responsibility that everyone looks at everyone else and like, it's your fault. It's your fault. And like, you have all these people who are like, they'll be like, it's Nancy Pelosi's fault that I'm not free. It's Mitch McConnell's fault that I don't have my freedom. Like, have we fallen that far? Are we looking at these ghouls, right? These ghostly goblins and saying, these people, I just shot my wedding ring up in the air. I mean, these ghoulish goblins are responsible. These ghoulish goblins are responsible for our freedom. Like, no, we need to live within our means. We need to stop keeping up with the Joneses. We need to get out of debt. We need to reject hookup culture around every single corner and teach the children that it is a much more fulfilling life to be with someone that loves you than to be with 1,000 people that don't. We need to model that. We need to get married. We need to tell young people about what a healthy marriage is and show them what a healthy marriage is and be a good husband and be a good wife. Like my wife is a tremendous wife, and be fruitful and multiply. Follow that Bible if you believe in it. And if you don't, I'm not trying to tell you should. If you believe in it, follow that Bible. Be fruitful and multiply. Have lots of children. Be a great father. Be a great mother. Raise your children. Do not put them in daycares. Do not put them in government daycares, also known as schools, or as I like to refer to them as indoctrination centers. Raise your children right. Homeschool your children. Spend your time and your effort. Build businesses. Hire your friends if you can, if you get there. That's amazing. Be a great neighbor. Love thy neighbor. Have chickens. Grow your own food. Give your neighbor eggs for free. And we're going to talk about growing your own food because things are escalating here, and I'm very excited about it. Don't just complain that your rights are being taken, but learn your rights. You have rights. You are endowed by your Creator with rights, but you got to know what they are if you're going to be able to defend them. You got to know how to defend them. Learn your rights and teach your children their rights. I remember a few years ago, I was waking. I was doing, this is when I was in my phase of doing I don't do deep research all the time. I'm like, I need to find out what they're doing in the sewers. Like, I don't care. These people are psychopaths. I know they're doing bad stuff. Like, but this is when I was doing deep research and stuff. And like, this is when I was doing those reports where like, the DNC sues you and stuff, but like psychopaths. But so this guy came to my house. I needed him to look behind my wall at the insulation, and there's something going on with the piping. And so this guy, he comes to my house, and I'm talking to him, and we're talking about education and homeschooling. This was in like 2015 or 16, right? Real cool guy. So he starts telling me about how he was educating his daughter, and I now know that what he was describing to me was classical education. At the time, I didn't quite know what he was talking about, but he was talking about the trivium, grammar, logic, and rhetoric. He didn't use that word, but he was explaining how he was educating his daughter. I thought it was great. And he talked about how he got, I think it was a parking ticket, some type of ticket, and rather than just pay it, he thought it was a great learning opportunity for his daughter. And now they were really drilling down on the Constitution, on what I now know to be common law. At the time, I didn't really know what he was talking about. But I knew he knew what he was talking about, and I was trying to understand it, but I didn't fully understand it. I was researching after, and now I have a much, much greater comprehension of it. But anyway, so he had his daughter go to court to fight this ticket as a learning experience for her. And after, and I probably got to be careful how, so anyway, so the judge ordered them to pay it. And he had the idea of, I don't know if I can talk about this. You know how America's money used to be on a certain standard? It used to be on a what standard? Hey, did you ever hear, you ever hear about the, not the Grammys, but there's this thing called the something Globes? The something Globes that all these loser entertainers go to and they get their awards. Anyway, so he thought his daughter could pay in that. He thought his daughter could pay in that. And so she went there and she tried to pay in that Grammy type of, you guys get it. You guys get it. And they told her no. So anyway, they wound up filing, they said they wouldn't take it. So he wound up filing paperwork citing the Constitution of the United States of America, claiming that legal tender was turned away. And they received a notice from the court that allegedly could be. They received a notice from the court that they decided to throw out the case. So they didn't say they were right. They just said, we've thrown out your case. You don't have to pay. This was a teenage girl. Never let anyone tell you are not free. Never let anyone tell you the Constitution does not protect you. It does. We just don't know how to use it. Isn't that amazing? I have his number still. I should call him and see how he's doing. I should call him and let him know what I do these days. Public school was designed to not make thinkers, but workers. Yeah, that's actually a quote from Rockefeller. Thank you, Abraham Warg. It's very kind words. Just trying to follow my path. Yeah, hands-on skills take you the furthest in life. Yeah, I see why you guys banned that Hammer Time person. They were like homeschooling kids basically sets them up to be handicapped. How so? My child will know every subject matter better than public school counterparts, which is why homeschool students perform better on standardized testing and the SATs than public school students. So like what on what grounds? That my child will also know skills, construction, videography, engineering, computer coding, all these skills, art, music, all right? Socialization. This weekend alone, on Saturday, On Saturday, my son had his first Little League game. He actually had a doubleheader. He's on a baseball team with, I guess, 11 other teammates. So they had their doubleheader. So they played their doubleheader. He played at the park for about an hour before the game. Him and his teammates were there early, and rather than practice, they just played at the park. And then after the game, he literally played at the park for another 3 hours, running around with probably, if I had to put an exact number on it, I'd say 10 million children. There were so many kids, it was crazy. It was opening day for Little League. And he was running around for 3 hours after playing a baseball game for an hour, after running around for an hour before that, playing with the children, having the time of his life. And this isn't like the exception. That's like, oh, your homeschool student was finally around children? No, like every day of his life he's around children and adults. In fact, right now he's in town with Nicole, right? And then on Sunday, this is actually a great transition. On Sunday, we went to a garden center around here. And this garden center, for one, it is the most beautiful place I've ever seen. They have like, it's not a greenhouse. It's like a building, but it's like everything's glass. And then it's just vines climbing up like the interior walls of the, I guess the greenhouse, we'll call it. It is the most beautiful garden center. And then they had, it's all set up for kids. They have bouncy castles. They have a live musician who plays music and sings like Frozen. You know, the children are all dancing and they're like, let it go, let it go. Like Snoopy was there, right? They have tricycles. The kids are just riding on their tricycles, like just all day. Just Brady having the time of his life again. And of course, Aubrey being there. And like, that's not like the exception. That's the rule. That's how we live life. So like, oh, they'll be socially handicapped. No, I'll tell you about a social handicap. When you go somewhere and all of the authority figures who you're taught that you can't question, that they are the all-knowing, tell you that if you get within not 5 feet, not 7 feet of your friend, that, you know, something could happen to you, or it could be a threat to grandma, or that you have to, you know, cover your breathing hole, or it's a threat to grandma. Yeah, I think that might have social ramifications on people. Hey, but what do I know? Homeschooling kids basically sets them up for handicap. Anyway. Does not matter how much videography you teach. They will lose the job to someone. Do you run a business? Because I do. I run a business. And let me tell you who gets the job in a business. The person that gets the job in a business is the person who shows the business owner that I will make you money. See, that guy has a slave mentality, right? It's, I go get my degree, I send in my resume. You know what we teach? The theory of access, that you kick in the door. And when you show a business owner, whether that be you go out of your way, you track down his email when no one can get his email, you track down his number when no one can get his number, you straight knock on his door, maybe you use videography, you use a video to get his attention, right? Right? Just like people have seen those viral videos where they're like, they make very clever videos and they're like, help me get 1 million views on this video, and I told my wife I would take her to her first Pittsburgh Steelers game. And then what happens? They wind up, the Pittsburgh Steelers themselves wind up giving them box seats to the game, right? So there's plenty of ways to get people's attention, and when you show a business owner that you're what will drive their profit, then you get the job. And I know people that have done these type of things. So it's like, people are just there. They hate when people come on here and like show a black mirror to themselves, because we show them what they're not, right? We show them because they've said in their mind that, oh, you can't do things like that because I can't do things like that. And the only reason they can't do things like that is because they say to themselves, I can't do things like that. Mindset is so important. And never forget this when you educate your children. Like, for anyone that really knows me, like, it doesn't matter what the challenge is. I'll just look right at you. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Right? Because you are talking to your subconscious, and you have to tell your subconscious. If you tell your subconscious that you can't do something, your subconscious will say, okay, I can't do it. And if you tell yourself, I can do something, and then you apply yourself and put your energy and your effort and truly believe it, then you can achieve anything you set your mind to. And don't ever let anyone tell you different. Hammer time. Mid-19th century, when people would beat horses to go faster. Beating a dead one is pointless. Bear Mini Mom knows everything. Hardware Bear, your status as the knowing everything person is being usurped by Bear Mini Mom. Phoenix Shay just ordered those microseeds, absolutely crushed. Microgreens, and that's from the urban farmer, Curtis Stone. If you want to know about farming, Curtis Stone, urban farmer. In fact, I think I need to make a section of Homeschools Connected just on Curtis Stone. I think that would be beneficial to everyone. Start cataloging his videos. Christians, no, Bell, no endless amount of hate. I mean, do you hear hate coming out of me? Where am I? It jumps and I lose my spot. I lose my spot. How did you find Masha? I need to find an illustrator and I need one. I found Masha on Fiverr. Fiverr, Fiverr.com, which she's currently banned from, because Masha Mawa lives in the bad country. Isn't that interesting? Mawa lives in the bad country, so they told her that she can't work and feed her family. By the way, I've developed a relationship with her over the last couple of years. She is a phenomenal human being. And those sanctions that everyone is in such favor of have cut off her way of making a living, and the food prices in her country have over doubled, and good people are starving because the majority of the population just buys into every bit of propaganda that the media promotes. So anyway, she is a friend of mine, and she's dealing with that. In fact, I probably should reach out to her and see if she wants an advance on our next book, just to make sure she has money. Well, luckily, I still have ways of contacting her because, well, you want to know what's hilarious? I found a way to contact her about a year ago because I assumed it would be me that was silenced. It worked out. It was her. Oh, go figure. But Marine Princess, you know what I would love to see you do? Because I know you're making the children's book. And don't feel any pressure to do this. But there are certain students in our community that are phenomenal illustrators. Like, I'm talking, like, I've seen some of their work. They are phenomenal. It would be really cool if you checked Homeschools Connected to see if any of the students wanted to work as your illustrator. Again, no pressure to do that, but I think that would be beyond based. That would be next level. Oh, Bear Mini Mom just sent the screenshot of the lemon tree, so we will do that this week. I took 2 years of tech school, computer class in high school for an easy A, but it benefits today. I'm teaching the kids all the tech I can. Yeah, there's, what's his name? The Kinderbot. The Kinderbot is good for teaching, coding, although that one's on the expensive side a little more. There's Codables, which is the app. There's a few more. CodeSpark Academy. And then if you really want to get fancy, there's like ID Tech and all those companies, which are next level. Hallelujah. Amen, amen, amen. I have heard so much hate for my having 11 kids, and I think we must get welfare, which brings more hate. Well, first of all, you're an absolute legend. And thank you for having 11 children, because I know what true wealth is. And what true wealth is for my nation, for my country, are like-minded people like me, right? People like you, people like the mothers in this homeschool community, the fathers in this homeschool community, having lots and lots and lots of like-minded people. Do not have one child, do not have two, do not have three, but have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, Phoenix, Shay, and raise those children right. Homeschool your children. Show them the beauty of the world first. Give them that moral grounding. Show them how beautiful the world is. Then teach them how to identify that ugly side of the world. Teach them skills and teach them how to be free. And when they grow up, and when the 10 of us, the 11 of us all have 4 or 5 children, right? Well, now you're in the hundreds, and then they have children. Be fruitful and multiply and spread the Garden of Eden. The future belongs to those who show up. And I got a comment I posted on my Instagram stories where someone was saying that I'm making them want to have children. And like, when I talk about my purpose here, like, that is, to me, that's such purpose. Like, to think that I might convince people to have children, to be a parent, to be a good parent. That's how what we do here today echoes through eternity. It echoes through eternity. So you are crushing. Thank you. You are the modern day Rosie the Riveter. My country is not under threat from foreign forces, despite what the media will tell you. I mean, it is like they're foreign forces that try to subvert us. But the greatest threat to my country is not someone across the world. It is these subversive monsters who get into positions of power, who leverage their money to buy our politicians, and they conquer us from the inside. And the way we stop that is with personal responsibility. And the way we stop that is by getting married, being husbands, being wives, having lots of children, and raising them right. But we are not on welfare. We have a business. So not only does Phoenix Shay, not only is she not on welfare, but they own their own business. I mean, can we stop and talk about the level of crushing that's going on in this community? Right? Marine Princess is illustrating a book. Phoenix Shay owns her own business and has 11 children, which is just amazing. Melissa has, well, I'm not going to voluntarily talk about people's children, but anyway, we have big families in this community. Hey y'all, let's tap away and expand his reach and get in the FYP. Thank you for that. If you guys could do that every day, I'd really appreciate that. Shares, likes, that all drives the FYP. I mean, I don't know, because like, sometimes I'll come on here and there'll be like 70 people in a minute, and then other times like no one comes in. So I don't know. This channel has been, well, you guys know what happened to this channel. I try not even to talk about it. But we'll see. I'm considering getting an additional phone. I'm considering opening a business account, getting a phone for that business account, starting a separate social media accounts on that phone, and then I could also stream on separate accounts from it. So I've been considering that. My wife just said when she's annoyed with me, she pokes the screen in anger. Jesus. Right, getting a degree just to get into debt is nonsense. Shouldn't do that. Like, if you get a degree, it should be because you know it's going to serve a function. We're starting our blotted garden this week using cinder blocks. Just a bunch of little hearts coming out of your mouth. Illustration contest. Oh, I love it. Wow. All right, Marine Princess, let us know what you think about the whole illustration idea. How I do that? How do I do that? My daughter is a first time homeschooling and she's asking, how do you do what? How do you do what? You can join our group. Oh, how do you join our group? www.classicallearner.com, Homeschool's Connected. You'll see Homeschool's Connected when you get there, and use the promotion code together, and that's $10 monthly. How does the Minecraft Education Edition differ from regular? I don't know exactly, but I know it's structured with the purpose. The function of that edition is to teach children how to do coding. So that's the function of it. I don't know exactly how it's structured. Got a mini army over here. Yes, we do. Here comes the nickels. Ooh, all right. All right, so I wanted to take you guys over to see what occurred over the weekend. I would tell you I'm excited about it, but it would really, sorry YouTube, it would really be an understatement. YouTube, the stand I'm using to hold you sucks, so if it gets a little shaky, see, I'll show you guys. See, TikTok has this awesome stand. This thing is amazing. But TikTok, you can see, for YouTube, I just use my filming light, and it's bulky, it's just, I really should just get another stand, but YouTube, I might drop you if this gets annoying. But for now, we walk, we talk. We don't rush, but we crush. I rhyme every time. Look, another book. Oh, all right, I'll stop. All right. All right, are you guys ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this because the crushing is beyond, just beyond. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I'm going to turn it around. You guys see this? So, we picked up grapes, blackberries, cherry trees, raspberries, another cherry tree. We have aloe vera. This hasn't sprouted yet. Then we have our sprouts. We have 3 lemon trees. 3 lemon trees. We got some of our sprouts into the ground because they're getting big. Now my cucumbers are looking sad. Don't worry, cucumbers, I'm going to water you. Then we have a grape, another grape tree. Now, are you guys ready for the fire? All right. This is what I'm really excited about. This is what I want to show you. All right. Clementine tree. So we're growing clementines. You can actually see, if you look right here, that we actually have, you look right here, we actually have a clementine. And, oh, look who's here.
Hi guys.
Hey, Obs. How's my girl? How you feeling, baby?
She's not happy.
She has a tooth coming in, so she hasn't been. And then last but not least, what I consider my new child, avocado tree. Which I need to fix that soil because I don't like those yellow leaves.
It needs nitrogen.
I believe it needs nitrogen. avocado tree. I can't even tell you how excited I am about the avocado tree. So anyway, that's what we did at the garden center this weekend. I mean, a lot of those we already had, but we got the cherry trees, an extra grape bush or vine, the clementine tree, and the avocado tree. And I have them in the greenhouse, as you can see behind me. Got the greenhouse. So, very, very excited about that. Yeah, we found the clementine tree, and I was so happy. I was like, all right, we're going to get the clementine tree because it's been a big goal of ours. In fact, within 5 years, my objective is to not have to go to grocery stores anymore. So we got to keep accumulating these trees and build structures and whatnot. So I don't like being reliant on the system. And even like to the degree of which, like, you know, when you're at the store and it says something's organic, you don't really know, like, you know, like they always change the standards. Oh yeah, it's organic, although, you know, we let them spray whatever on it. Like, no, I want to know what my family eats. So anyway, that was a big step forward for us. We got the trees. So yeah, we got the clementine tree, and then they had alpacas. So we were checking out the alpacas. It's Brady. We were checking out the alpacas, and Nicole, I guess she saw, like, she looked underneath the structure, and she saw the word avocado, I guess, and she's like, wait a second. So we went back to where we got the clementine tree, and we almost missed. They had an avocado tree. They actually had 3 of them, but it would have got a little pricey to get 3 of them, but we got 1 of them. So she saw avocado, and we were like, oh my God, we've been wanting to get an avocado tree. So right before we left, we got the avocado tree, and I was so excited. And that's been like my big life goal here. Like, it's all I've talked about for years. Like, every time we saw, like when we talked about moving south, all I talked about was avocados. I was like, all I want is avocados. And then we saw the tree. I was like, yes, this is my moment. So we got that. And Nicole, all right, you want to hear a legend? So and it's such a shame because it would probably be producing now because it takes like 5 or 6 years. So before we even bought our house on Long Island, so when did we get the house? Yeah, we got the house in 2017? I don't know. So even before then, so it would have been years. It would have been a full-grown tree now. Nicole actually took an avocado seed from one of the avocados and got it to sprout. And it grew an avocado tree. And it was like yay high. It was like this big. And it was cool. It was an avocado tree. It had 3 leaves. And it was, I think we had it at my mother's house. And we had it in front of the glass door for sunlight, and no one was paying attention, and my niece came over, and she ripped it to shreds. So it took months to grow this avocado tree, and then she ripped it to shreds, and we've tried multiple times since, and we failed every time we've tried to grow one. We haven't been able to get it to sprout again. So whatever we did that first time worked. But all right, guys, so Classical Learner. You can find the Classical Learner on everything. If you want to join our homeschool community, it's classicallearner.com. You found a bag?
Yeah.
You want to go run?
Yeah.
Go take a run.
Why?
I like watching you run. I like to see the aerodynamics of it. Classicallearner.com. You can find us, Classical Learner, on everything. Homeschool's connected. Promotion code together. It's $10 a month. And yeah, we have a great community of mothers and fathers. You get access to our year-long nature unit study, which I was talking about today. The propaganda class that I recorded. So it's a class I taught using the Cubs to Bears children book series, which teaches children to identify propaganda. our study into the media industrial complex, which I'm now actually recording the classes for. So I'm turning that not just into lessons, to classes. And I'm gonna be recording a lot. So by the end of the year, we're gonna have a lot more in terms of content. But we have a good amount now, and we have a pen pal program, state group, so you can connect with people, in the state that they live. So anyway, www.classicallearner.com, and Homeschool's connected. Use the promo code together, $10 a month. Freedom isn't free. We have to earn it every day, and I will be back here Monday through Thursday at 9:30 a.m. to earn my freedom. All right, guys. Foster Bear, absolutely crushing. Absolutely crushing. Crushing.